Lights down low, the credits start to fade. Get ready for the cinematic parade. Got your hosts right here, yeah, Ned and Joe. We're gonna drag you to the movies.
Welcome to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
And I'm Joe.
In this episode, we're going to talk about Unforgiven from 1992, directed by Clint Eastwood and starring Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris, Sal Rubinek, Francis Fisher, and Anna Thompson. So, Joe, what did you think of Unforgiven?
Well, Ned, I thought it was a country film, and there were cowboys in it, and shooting, and no good, dirty.
What is this, a musical genre?
Yep. No, so I mean, it's a Western.
Yes.
It's got all the Western stuff you could want. It's got the resting bitch face Clint Eastwood in the whole film.
Congrats.
I don't know about you, but like so far we've had what, maybe 2-3 Clint Eastwood performances in the podcast.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that.
Probably about that.
And he is what he is, I think, right? I don't know that he's got range per se. When I say that, like, I don't think he's got range outside of like the grumpy, like, badass gunslinger type man. Do you agree with that, or is this just based on what I've seen him in?
I mean, I've seen him in other things where he does lean into maybe a little bit more comedy. But in general,
is he a
like,
grumpy man in the comedy?
I'm trying to think back through if there's anything in particular I could think of. I mean, generally he's always kind of playing the grumpy man, but I think there are some definitely older movies where he may have expressed some different acting chops. But yeah, he's typically typecast, and like he's kind of like Wolverine, you know. He's the best there is at what he does, but what he does isn't very nice, you know.
Right. Yeah. So when I say this, I don't mean it as like a, he's not very good. He does what he does well. But I just want to state that you're getting Clint Eastwood as Clint Eastwood in this film. So he does a good job. Now I will say he is painted in a little bit of a different picture compared to what we've seen before in the cowboy films or Westerns. He is a more retired, out of practice gunslinger, right?
Yes. Been retired for a minute.
Right. You kind of get to see how he's kind of old, feeble, doesn't really have the I don't know, the know-how with guns as he used to, at least the pistol. They make it a point of showing him trying to shoot that oil can.
He's lost a step
or whatever it was. Yeah, right. And he's missing all of his shot. Now, I will say I appreciate that scene because what does he do? He goes in and grabs a double barrel shotgun and blasts it. Right. And that becomes his go-to, for the rest of the film, is that double barrel shotgun, which is kind of badass in my opinion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so, he plays, is it Will?
Will Money.
Notes here. Yeah, Will. So he plays Will. He, like I said, was a kind of a no good, rootin' tootin' son of a bitch back in the day. Mm-hmm. And he met a woman who straightened him out, got him off the booze, got him off the killing, became like a pig farmer, is what I gathered. His wife dies, and he's kind of having a go at it on his own with 2 young kids. Which, in hindsight, he had those kids pretty late in life.
Yes.
Maybe that was the case and how that worked back then, but I also think wasn't like the median age of death like 40 or something then.
Yeah, and he also,
I'm nitpicking though,
didn't really think long and hard about leaving him either.
No, he's like, I'll just leave him with I don't even know who he left him
in
with,
trouble.
To be honest.
I think he's like calling out the neighbor, just run over the neighbor and get help.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, just abandons his kids. His kids are like what, 6 and like 4, maybe?
I would say maybe 7. I don't know. For the oldest.
And at the time of this filming, Clint Eastwood was like 61, so he would have had those kids at like 54.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah, whatever. I mean, good for him. Good for him. One of his guns is still shooting. You know what I'm saying, Ned? Anyway,
Uh,
so anyway, so yeah, so it's you kind of see how he's struggling, and then you get introduced to the Schofield kid, and he's kind of a up and coming gunslinger as well, trying to make it at bounty hunting, right? uh and that's kind of the premise. That's how the film kicks off. I like that.
yeah.
I like how that
Yeah.
goes. Now I will say I wasn't expecting the intro that we got in this film of it being in a brothel of
Right.
sorts, right, or a saloon, and that woman getting cut up, from
Right. Yep.
one of the suitors, and that was a bit crazy to to see kind of right off the rip of a film. um and uh you really feel for her as it's happening, right? And so it's interesting how the events play out after that. There's a lot of like, I don't know, I guess they call it, actually, well, I forget how the phrase is, but something justice, right? Like Western or Southern justice, or whatever, right?
Hmm.
Where it's somebody makes a call and that's what happens at the time, right? And where I'm going with that is, little Bill comes, basically arrests the guy who does the cutting and the guy that was with him, um, which is interesting, right? There's really no questioning that happens, that they show. It's more of, you're both in trouble, even though the guy that was with the dude who did the cutting pulled him off of him, or tried to save that girl.
Well, I think
Um,
didn't he initially hold her though? Like he had a part to play, but yes, he ended up trying to stop it
well, did he
eventually.
hold her? I thought he was trying to get him off of her.
Uh,
Maybe he was holding her. I
I
saw
know
his,
he
because
called
he
him
gets
out to
like
hold
knocked off
her.
a few times.
Right.
Okay. And maybe I miswatched that part.
Yeah.
So if he did indeed hold her, then yeah, he deserves what he got. Um, but yeah, little Bill dishes out his justice of basically, you damaged this man's goods, so you need to or I guess it would be that man's property, which is
Right.
the girl, right? And so
Right.
his
Because he had a
justice is
contract
to,
from. Yeah. Yep.
right, is to give up horses, in exchange for a woman who got cut, which is crazy. And so it leads us to the whole idea of the women getting their money together and putting $1,000 award out for the murder of those two guys.
Hmm.
And that really kind of sets it up for a fun film, in my opinion. Fun, maybe fun's not the right word, but it's a
It's an
fun Western,
interesting
I'll
opening
say.
that draws you in.
Right. Yeah. 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 I was definitely interested. Um, and so, some of the highlights, I don't want to recap the whole film, because, if you're listening to
Hmm.
this podcast, you should go watch it for sure.
Oh.
But I think some of the highlights for me is, getting to meet, I got English Bob. I had to think of his name for a second.
Hmm.
And kind of understanding how he's introduced first as kind of like a badass. They're on the train, which to me, this is a funny part as well, of them arguing about the assassination of a president versus how a queen would never have an attempt on her life, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then how, oh, it's English Bob and you should fear him. The next thing you know, they're on a flatbed uh, train car shooting pheasants. Like,
Hmm.
that's kind of crazy. But I guess possible at that time, right?
Yeah. I mean, it
Um,
kind of came off as like I challenge you to a duel type thing in a way.
right. And I appreciate that they build this English Bob character up just for him to get humbled like immediately. Um,
Yep.
I think that helps set the precedence of just how much little Bill is trying to rein in this whole um bounty that the quote unquote whores put out there, right? And I'm
The
only using that language
prostitutes.
because that's what they used a couple times in that
Oh
film,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. For sure.
But um Yeah, so he posts signs up in town, basically says no guns, or leave your guns with the constable or whatever. And yeah, so little Bill humbles English Bob in front of people, like gets him on the ground, kicks him around, really bloodies him up. And that kind of sets the tone for what's to come for, our leads. Um and so yeah, so that kind of sets you up for that Western drama of, there's bad guys, there's good guys, but then there's also I don't know if you would consider Little Bill to be a bad guy, but he's definitely somebody fighting against our protagonists in this film, right?
Well, and
Um,
that's kind of like one of the things about this movie where there's, I don't think, a clear moral line of who's good, who's bad. I feel like everyone kind of has their own motivations, which kind of makes them feel real. Some of
right.
them are good, some are bad within each individual. And then it also, like, especially in Little Bill's case, he thinks he's in the right, so he's handling things the way he believes they should be, even though taking away people's guns is against the Constitution and some of those things, and he's kind of the judge, jury, and executioner in this town, and he's taking
Right.
control of it.
Right.
So yeah.
And part of what I appreciate about the character and the writing around Little Bill, I don't know if you drew this comparison or not, but the idea that he's the sheriff of the town and how he's trying to patch it together to be safe for the community, quote
Hmm.
unquote, right? And he's also the carpenter for the town, and he's struggling to keep the
Well, his
houses
own
patched
house.
up. Right. Well, that in the jailhouse, right? Because
Yeah,
there's
I
the
guess a
part
little
where the
bit there.
jailhouse is leaking, and
Right.
what's Mr. Beauchamp? Is it Beauchamp? I can't remember how anyway, yeah, WW Beauchamp. How he says, "Oh, they should hang the carpenter," and then Little Bill gets like offensed, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
takes offense because
He didn't
he's the
realize it was
carpenter of the
him.
town or
Right.
whatever. Right. So I like how they have that comparison of like Bill's trying to patch things, but he's not doing a great job, kind of thing.
Hmm.
Um, it's yeah, to your point though, it's interesting how there's all of these egos that play right into this film,
Yep.
and how they interact with each other. uh yeah, so it's good, it's a good film. I was not expecting Morgan Freeman to be in this film. That was a nice surprise.
Ned.
um yeah, Ned, were you when you saw it, were you like, oh, that's my name, all excited?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel my name is a little bit rare.
Yeah, I
So
was
when
gonna
I
say you
do,
don't get many Neds in films. At least. Well, I'm not the movie guy as much as you are, so I don't know how many times has the name Ned came up in
I
movies.
mean, for me, at least a handful. Like, there's Ned Schneebly from School of Rock, and Ned Beatty is an actor. Like, there's a few around, but yeah, in general, it's always a name that's not in there too much for me. And then, like, the name tags you find at like
Mm.
souvenir stores, my name's never on any of them. Like,
Okay,
so.
I just did a lookup of famous Neds or famous Ned characters in films,
Hmm.
and we got Ned Logan from
Yep.
Unforgiven. We got Ned Rubenstein from Friday the 13th.
Yeah, Ned Pepper
Uh,
from
that did
True
not
Grit.
come up. We got Ned McDodd from Horton Hears a Who. Ned Leeds, which is from the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Yeah,
Spider-Man films, which
it's the
I don't know.
Hobgoblin.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be. Oh, that's
Potentially.
well.
We'll
I
see.
was gonna say we haven't seen it yet. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, so Morgan Freeman does a great job at being that supporting character as he does with his super smooth, calming, reassuring voice that he has. Um, it's interesting too because he's also one of uh Bill Money's, like, I guess, old acquaintances from back when he was doing his murdering and drinking.
Hmm.
And he gets introduced as, a sharpshooter with that bolt or not bolt action, the
Remington.
lever action rifle,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, the Remington. Um, and it kind of gets all talked up about, like, how deadly he was with that. And just kind of how we get introduced with Bill and how he can't shoot his gun. We get to a point where, our bounty hunters find one of the men and try to kill him. But they ultimately struggle because Ned is unable to bring himself to murder somebody. He's gotten soft in his old age.
Yeah, I'm curious. There's something I kind of picked up on that I'm curious if you did at all. You want me to get into it real quick?
Yeah.
So throughout this movie, there's kind of like this sense of liquid courage that's in there. So the whole movie, Will Money doesn't really drink at all until the very end after he finds out that Ned's been killed. He also, like even Morgan Freeman pulls out a bottle saying that we'll need this to build up the courage. And he doesn't drink, if I remember correctly. So when he gets up there and doesn't have that liquid courage, he chokes. There's also the hype around, English Bob and how the drunken state of things played out one way and took advantage of that to kind of build his own legend in a way. So it's just funny to me how much they tried to portray alcohol in this movie and how it influences some of the characters, especially the kid.
Right.
After he actually kills someone.
Well, even from a how do I want to say it? From a medicinal purpose, right? Like there's that part where Bill is like sick and Ned pours him, I think, scotch or whiskey or something, and tells him to help.
Was sick.
Maybe
you said Bill.
Yeah. Oh, well, they have him as Bill Money in IMDb. But so that's why I'm going back and forth because they say Will a lot, right, in the film.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
And I also feel like it's different because like you have Little Bill in here, so it's I try to say Will over Bill because I feel if you say Bill, that's going to put you towards Gene Hackman's character more.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I'll try to stick to Will.
I feel like that's something they could have cleared up a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean it's all good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, he doesn't even take the whiskey at the time when he's got the fever and everything. And he almost ends up dying from that. So yeah, I mean overall, I enjoyed the writing of this film. I liked how it gets wrapped up. I would have liked to have not seen some people die that did. But it is what it is. I did appreciate how I was trying to avoid it for a spoiler's sake, but I'm going to say it anyways. Spoiler incoming. How they have Ned in a coffin up in front of is it McGreedy's?
Whatever the saloon is there.
Yeah, out front. And I love how when Will walks in, he says, "Who's the owner of this establishment?" And McGreedy comes out, and I myself thought, okay, McGreedy's safe because he's the proprietor of the prostitutes upstairs, right? And they're the ones that were injured and everything. But no, he blasts them because McGreedy let him put Ned out front in that casket.
Yep. I love the quote there too.
Remind me what it was.
He's like, "You just shot an armed man." He's like, "He should have armed himself. He was gonna decorate his saloon with my friend."
Yeah, I need to get better at my notes because I have that written down. I can't remember where it came up. But so that I love how that plays out. I love, even though there's a whole ton of plot armor on Will at that
oh my
point,
god, yes. No one hits their shots.
Right, but he blasts the hell out of all of them. But I will say, I mean, it's not a good excuse, but all of those men throughout the film are super nervous, right? Or overly confident. So
or
it kind
just
of explains
in general
a little bit.
Weaker men. Like they don't
right. Because a lot of times when it comes up to hey, little Bill, two guys just rode into town with guns, they're all super nervous except for that one guy who is real cocky with one arm.
Right.
But he's one of the first ones that gets blasted too. So yeah, again, I like the character building. I like the writing. Overall, it's really well done, in my opinion.
Good.
Yeah. So, yeah, for the writing side of it, right? There were a lot of good quotes. I wrote some of them down, and like I said, I wish I would have written down the content or the context. But there's the part where after that girl gets cut up and all of the prostitutes are talking, and one of them explains, oh, the only reason he got upset is because she giggled when he saw he had a teensy little pecker.
Mhm.
Like, I thought that was hilarious. I love that. I think this was them explaining to, or somebody describing Will, but I think it was meanest goddamn son of a bitch alive. I think that's what it was, but I think that was kind of like a real Western movie kind of way of
Mhm.
explaining somebody.
Right.
Um, Let me see here. Man, I wish I remember this. If I wanted a free one, I wouldn't, or I'd want it with you. Oh, that's
Oh
right.
yeah,
So
it's
that's
when
that's
Will
when
and
that's
the
when he's talking to
prostitute.
that cut up girl. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Will and the cut up prostitute, where she's all of the so Ned and Schofield are getting basically free time with the prostitutes, and this is after Will gets better, and the cut up prostitute comes out and basically says to him like, would you like a free one? And he says no, and she gets like, oh, I understand. He's like, it's not on account of you being cut up.
Right. Yep.
He's like, if I wanted a free one, I'd want it with you. I thought that was kind of a endearing, even though it's kind
Mm.
of a weird setting.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
it was kind of endearing and
I
kind of
mean, for the
speaks
time, it
to,
might be common. I don't know.
right, yeah, kind of endearing and showing the reformed nature of Will at this point.
Right.
So that I liked how that went down. And then yeah, I wrote down, you just shot an unarmed man. Well, he shouldn't have. He should have armed himself. I thought that was kind of badass as well.
Agreed.
So writing was top tier. The music I thought was great. It
Kind of a
was your
sad
typical,
Western
like, yeah,
music.
sad Western music. A lot of twang. um it fit well. Cinema, oh my god, cinematography,
Cinematography.
there,
Yeah.
I got it out, Ned.
You got
Cinematography,
it.
I thought was really well done as well.
Yeah. A lot of
um
well framed shots, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of, especially because there's a lot of like dark lit shots as well, and
Hmm.
I think it's handled well. Like it's not like dark lit shots that are like blasted with light to like light up the characters. It's more of candlelit and just kind of gritty, I guess I would say, when those scenes happen. um and a lot of the scenes that I think are kind of the coolest, like when Will is leaving McGreedy's afterwards and
Hmm.
like telling them basically like, anybody shoots, I'll kill them, and like that's at night in a rainstorm, right, if I remember correctly, and it's like just very gritty and very like raw, and it just added impact, I think, to that scene. So really well done there as well. Yeah, I mean, just overall, I was very, very happy with this film, which means a lot because I think when we started this venture of a podcast, I think one of the things I told you is like westerns never really were a thing that I cared
Hmm.
for.
Right.
And so far, I'm on a kick right now where I've been liking most of the westerns we've watched. So,
That's true.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much my recap of this film. Ned, what did I miss, or what would you like to add?
So like you said, really feel like the standout scenes to me, you know, the opening really draws you in, gets you involved, um, gets you kind of in the right mindset of like what time frame you're dealing with and how people thought of things. Like Little Bill definitely thought less of the prostitutes, so he wasn't really standing up for them by any means. And
Right.
yeah, I just feel like that was a great way of bringing you into this movie. The standout scene with English Bob being exposed from getting his ass beat to being in a prison cell while Little Bill is kind of tearing him apart to the other guy. Um, and then ultimately the climax. You kind of have everything build up to this one moment and it pays off. It's kind of simple in story, but I think very well told and effective. Um,
Yeah,
I
I'd
also
agree.
felt it did a great job of kind of capturing the, you know, lawless side of the Wild West, even though this kind of seemed to be a little bit maybe towards the end, which is probably appropriate as I feel this was kind of Clint Eastwood's goodbye to the Westerns. This is kind of one of his last, I would say, true Western style films that he had done.
Okay.
So I really appreciate that. I felt that they did a good job of kind of painting the picture that's like hard to kill a man, and there's a toll that takes on people, which I can appreciate. The fact that you have Will Money as, he got his ass beat, and he got sick, and if he was going to recover, he was kind of scared of dying, and seeing like
Mm-hmm.
who's probably the most closest thing we have to a protagonist in the movie being scared of dying is kind of an interesting thing to work into a movie, but I think worked well. Um, you have the younger man who kind of got shot in the quarry wherever they were, and you kind of question, like, did he really deserve that? Um, like, if he was really holding the girl for that long of a time, I would say fair. But I do think he ended up kind of siding with, like, that's not right what he was doing. So I do think he was trying to help out eventually. It just might have not initially gone that way. But even like after he gets shot, they're like, get him some water. Like, he
Right.
just didn't feel like he should go out that way. So a lot of things kind of in there around like what's right, what's wrong. And I kind of appreciate where this movie sits with that stuff. And then you also have like this whole movie, from a fun fact point of view, was something that I think it was written back in the 80s, and Clint Eastwood sat on it for like I think 16 years or something like that, um, before he actually felt like he was old enough to actually play the part, and actually do the movie. And then he has the dedication at the end where it's dedicated to Sergio and Don.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Sergio Leone and Don Siegel. So, the Dollars trilogy guy and essentially the Dirty Harry guy, who's,
Right.
I would say, definitely had a big part of his career. So it's kind of nice to see that little tribute in there as well. And then I guess, overall, this movie did very well at the awards. In 1993, it won Best Picture. It
Oh, wow.
also had Best Actor in a Supporting Role for Gene Hackman, who won, and it was Best Director, Clint Eastwood. It was nominated. Clint Eastwood was nominated for Best Actor, but did not win.
I'd say those are all warranted.
Yeah,
For sure.
so I love revisiting this one. It's not one I go and do often, but like every 5 or 10 years, it's definitely worth a watch for me. And I was gonna ask you, like, obviously there's a lot of westerns and things that I feel we have yet to uncover for you to watch. But I'm curious, have you ever heard or seen the series called Deadwood?
I have not. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Okay. So
Do you think I should give it a go?
I want to say it was only 3 seasons, but it was essentially kind of a very solid Western style film for me. And the way they swear in that movie or in that series is also almost like, kind of the Shakespearean cursing that can happen, where they definitely used a lot of language in a very creative way. But in general, I felt that one was very well executed, kind of aligns with this a little bit for me. And yeah, I think you would probably enjoy it. And
Okay.
I think a lot of people probably would if you haven't given it a chance. So yeah,
I'll give it a watch.
good. I don't really have anything else. Do you have any last minute thoughts?
I don't. I think I successfully described my thoughts on this film.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Well, then I guess let's talk recommendations.
Oh, we don't want to score it, Ned?
No, we're not going to score
Oh,
it.
okay. All right. I don't
All
want
right,
to say that I
fine.
gave it a 4 out of 5 anyway.
You gave it a 4 out of 5?
I did.
Samesies.
I did. Whoa! Did we just
Yeah.
become best friends?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely love watching this movie, and yeah, a 4 out of 5 fits it very well for me.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure.
Good.
We in hindsight, we've been talking about westerns. A lot of the westerns we've watched are more modern ones, except for you're gonna have
The
to tell
Good,
me
the
what
Bad,
the
and the
name.
Ugly.
Yeah, right. So I wonder how wonder how like the old ones would
Well, we
be.
haven't really tackled like a John Wayne
Yeah, that's what I'm
Western,
wondering. Like
or
like a John Wayne style or something
yeah.
like
Let me kind of
Saddle Up
look
the
through.
Pony, Mister. Like one of those kind of
Let
movies.
me
You know
look through my library and see if there's anything I can draw from for you.
what I mean? All right,
But yeah,
little lady.
now saying that, we're not going with that for our recommendation.
No.
But we're going to go with Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
We
So,
are.
what do you know about this?
I know nothing other than that Johnny Depp's in it.
Okay.
And so I have a vague like memory of either late high school or early college of people. I'm guessing it's college because I don't know why I would have saw this otherwise. People having posters of this film up on their walls.
Okay.
And I remember like a lot of people talking about it, but it just never really piqued my interest. But over time, it just kept coming up like in my life, like not necessarily like in like conversation or anything like that, just like in passing by. Like I would see that poster again of like the squiggly Johnny Depp with a cigarette in like a convertible. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've always been curious what it is, and I think it's time that I find out.
Okay. So this is one I've seen, but I don't remember. It's definitely one of those movies I saw once a long time ago, probably I want to say college time frame. And also I really remember from it is that it's a trip. They're in a red convertible, and there's a lot of drugs involved.
That makes sense of the squiggly Johnny Depp.
Right. So outside of that, I think it will be a nice refresher for me to go through it again as well. So
it makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if the reason I saw this is I was seeing it on like the Stoner Friends walls, and I never drew like the link between the two.
Right.
I'm gonna have to do some searching to see if that's why.
Let's also watch the movie first, and then you can do that soul searching.
No, I want to soul search now, Ned.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Threads and Facebook at To The Movies Pod, and we're also on YouTube, which is where we want you to reach out to us and leave comments. You can do so at The Movies Pod. Also, you can check out some of the things we've been writing over on Film Jokers. I think Joe recently dropped an article.
I did right.
You want to talk at it a little bit?
Nope. You need to go and see it yourself. Is what I'm going to say.
Okay, no teasers. Sorry, everybody. But thanks for joining.
Yeah, thanks for dragging me to that movie. And you should read my article about Dungeon Crawler Carl and why it's the best.
Oh, he did drop a teaser.
I did.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.